Hi, my name is Angie, and welcome. This is my astrology talk on soulmate and twin flame unions. And what I get a lot as an astrologer um, pertaining to the soulmate, twin flame, karmic partner unions, these unions that, are what everybody seems to be searching for. Every person who, is spiritual, believes in astrology, practices astrology even, you know, we get a lot of people who come to us as astrologers to get birth chart readings asking, is this person my twin flame? Is this person my soulmate? And wanting to know the answers from a synastry chart or a composite or a Davidson chart. And this is something that is probably never going to end because, if it would, then astrologers would all be, out of the job. So, it's just going to keep happening till the end of time. But I'm here to give my 2 cents. Obviously, this is something that is, based on my beliefs from being an astrologer, being a santera, being a practitioner of santeria, brujeria, being a spiritualist, studying the concepts of evolutionary psychology and the psychology of human behavior. So what happens when we have intense connections? Because truly, when people think somebody is their soulmate or twin flame, it is an intense connection. It's typically something that is, a connection that is different from the rest, different from, all the people you've ever met in your life. This person comes into your life just out of the blue typically, and they shake your world. You're like, I've never been so connected. I've never been so felt this way before. I've never been so cracked open or wide open, than before, feeling the most vulnerable, emotional, however it may be, passionate that you've ever felt in your life. So, it's something that you take note on, and this is something that we hear all the time as astrologers, And to answer this question, can we see soulmates and twin flames through a synastry chart, through a composite or a Davidson chart? I would argue that it would be something that is a bit, of a disservice to astrology and truly the art of astrology and the practice of astrology to be us ourselves being astrologers to tell people that's not your twin flame, that's not your soulmate, or whatever, or that's, your karmic partner, or, anything of that nature. I believe that that's a very toxic thing to do. What we can do as astrologers is look at a synastry, a Davidson composite. We can look at these things and, see connections. Of course, we can see, past life connections if that is something that you believe in. We can definitely see that through the nodes of the moon, your north node, south node, especially, obviously your south node, making aspects to any of your personal planets or, certain things we'll look for, right? Maybe your Juno, whatever planets that it might be aspecting, and the other persons as well. 12th house overlays. A lot of times 4th house overlays too, because 4th house is traditionally our ancestry, our roots. And some astrologers believe that the 4th house is how we actually died in our past life. That but that's a whole different story and a whole different conversation in and of itself. It has to do with degrees and all of that. But we can look at these things, of course, which would, I guess, indicate, past life karma, past life, let's say, past life connections that are needing to be addressed in this life. Now, is that your twin flame? Is that your soulmate? Is that your karmic partner? Well, that is something that we as astrologers are not qualified to tell you, because this is bringing a different concept into the practice of astrology. Spirituality and astrology are 2 different things. Can they be integrated? Of course they can. But in and of itself, astrology is quite mathematical. It's mathematic. It's structured. It is, formulaic in nature, and spirituality is a completely different. It's a different entity in and of itself, and to bring both of them together. I mean, I think the best astrologers can bring both together in the most purest way, and can really paint an amazing picture of a chart or a synastry reading or a composite or a Davison, and can be just amazing, phenomenal. It's like hearing a storyteller, and I think these are some of the most influential astrologers still today, like Robert Greene, and on his book Pluto and the Evolution of the Soul. That is one of the most, probably out of every single astrology book out there, it's probably one of the most influential books in the 21st century, this age of Aquarius. So going back to what I was saying, it's something that you have to yourself, as a person coming to an astrologer, getting a reading, asking these questions, you must ask yourself this one thing, and that is that going to change the outcome? Is having somebody else tell you, if that's your soulmate, twin flame, whatever, is that going to change the outcome for your relationship, for your marriage? Meaning, so if that astrologer tells you that's not your twin flame, I'm sorry, hon, that's your soulmate, or I'm sorry, hon, that's your karmic partner. If they tell you that, will you go and dump your boyfriend? Will you go and divorce your husband? Will you, leave your partner and just say, you know what, you're not my twin flame, so this isn't going to work out? I think that's a bit foolish. I think that's very foolish, and it's something that, is the biggest reason why I think that you should take heed, and I think astrologers, we should all, take heed on giving people these narratives like that. And I can see why, because, you can really, get somebody to get then, a tarot card reading, or, some type of other, oracle reading, if you're making them think that that person's their soulmate, when, there's absolutely zero indication of any south node contacts, any 12th house overlays, anything like that. Those are really the two biggest indicators. And most of the time it's really the only indicators of past life, business that hasn't been, cleared up. And you're here now meeting and got together with, your partner to clear up that karma, And so, it's just something that you need to take heed in, Now, if I would have to, because I know some people are going to be like, that's a horrible answer. Give me one thing. Give me a couple. Well, I gave two, right? So South Node contacts and 12th house synastry overlays, and 4th house as well. But some people are going to be like, no, we want an answer. What is one, at least, telltale sign of, this person being my twin flame or my soulmate? Give me something here. Okay, I'll say this. And this is from, I forgot what her name is on YouTube. She's a phenomenal astrologer. And she does a lot of synastry videos on synastry astrology videos on YouTube, and she's phenomenal. And I remember one of her videos, she said that, when you're looking to see if you have this twin flame, right, that's supposed to be a mirror soul, which, is the whole twin flame dynamic is, that's your mirror self, your mirror soul, and you two are here to really bring about transformation, spiritual growth, evolution, and transformation within each other to raise each other's state of consciousness in order to raise the collective consciousness. Because the more people who embark on the spiritual journey and raise your consciousness, your vibration, your consciousness, have spiritual awakenings, open that third eye, and to have these awakenings, then that vibration gets sent out into the collective consciousness to reflect back onto the universe and every human being on the earth to receive that and have more spiritual awakenings triggered. That energy of awakening triggers, one person that awakens 5 more, and 5 more awakens 10 more. It's such a powerful vibration that gets sent back to the universe, gets sent back into the 5D plane, the collective consciousness, that really is a force that manifests as as a vibration back to us, as a vibration back to Earth, as a vibration back to all of us humans and people of the universe, to where, it'll trigger more awakenings, more people elevating their consciousness. Now, so this is a very deep thing, and to look at a synastry chart and say, okay, so this is a big deal. That'd be your mirror self. That would be a mirror to you. But, one thing that, I've read about and definitely studied up on twin flames is that they're one of the hardest unions probably ever to ever be in, because even more so than soulmates. Soulmates are not supposed to be all harmonious themselves. Soulmates are meant to grow, and growth only occurs through conflict, trial, error, and, living the human experience as it is. It's like so above, so below, as above, so below. So it's really understanding and growing with another person through the trials and tribulations and the things that two people need to heal and grow on. And a twin flame is that, but in one of the most, it can be one of the most, how do I put it, just heartbreaking type of, relationships when people, are in these unions, because that's really like facing yourself, facing a mirror. And most people believe that they met their twin flame. He's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. Oh my goodness. When in reality, that person is just toxic, and they're throwing you into a whirlwind of emotions, and you're believing that this is something that is super esoteric and spiritual, and it's everything, and it's this crazy twin flame journey. I know it is, because when it's not, it's just that person is toxic and or doesn't really like you like that, and you're wanting to believe that that's something that it's not. So we also, as astrologers, as spiritualists, and teachers, we need to make sure that there is a fine line between delusion and spirituality, because truly it can absolutely be a fine line. You cannot be too much of one and too much of the other. It's okay to be a little delusional at times. I think that's what makes life a fantasy at times, and helps us get through the hardships. But I think that somebody who says, oh, this is my twin flame, I know it is. They're married, and I only see them once every month or 2 months, and then they just poof disappear and run away and blah blah blah. It's it's not a twin flame. It's not a twin flame runner, because it's always the runner and chaser. It's not the twin flame runner and chaser dynamic, not at all. Because true twin flame dynamics, when there's a true and actual one, because I've only seen a few, they're not running away from each other physically. It's not physically running away, and even if it is, it's not for days and days and just so long at a time. They always are one, and they always are. It's an energetic chase. People don't get that. It's true twin flames, they are with each other. They choose each other because it's about unconditional love. It's about spiritual growth. It's about, where I think soulmates can inhibit growth of the soul as well, and the ego personality, the soul, past, maybe hurts, traumas, and all of that. A twin flame is meant to do all of that, but also raise consciousness, to be in a spiritual path, a spiritual journey with another, raise consciousness to be able to raise the collective consciousness. Because without raising our own consciousness, then we cannot raise a collective consciousness, thus having less people who are awakened. So the whole purpose of meeting a twin flame is to have that union where, both have been through already a spiritual evolution on their own. And then once both come to grips and really engage in the spiritual journey, which, by the way, there's only 2 ways to truly be awakened, right, and pushed into the spiritual journey, as they say. One being the dark night of the soul, and the other being through deep years of deep guided meditation, intentional meditation. I'm not saying the YouTube videos we see, it's much different, the type of meditation I'm talking about. So and I believe that majority of people, I would say a whopping probably 90% of people on this earth have gone through the path of dark night of the soul to be spiritually awakened. I believe that majority of people who are spiritually awakened have gone through it through dark night of the soul, because it's quite frankly the most common. Having truly the ego death, the death of the self, soul, the death of the old self, the death of the ego and the personality, you know, to have that, the extreme pain, trauma, and, you know, death, you know, that comes with that, the death of self. It is truly the death before death. And it's truly a remarkable thing. I'll do a talk about that coming up, about the dark night of the soul and really what that is, because I've been through it, so I can speak on it best than anybody. But so it's something that, you know, I believe that 90% of people have experienced who are awakened, you know, because truly that is, you know, really letting yourself feel it, feel, you know, the trauma, the pain, and experiencing that feeling of ego death of your old self, and the true feeling of loss of who you once were, your old belief systems, your old behavioral patterns, your old beliefs, all of those gone. They all die with your old self during the dark night of the soul, where you crumble into ashes, and from those ashes you rise again like a phoenix, building yourself up, learning, growing, and evolving, and understanding the reason for the pain, the suffering, the all of the atrocious things that you have endured. The spiritual, it pushes you into from being in one realm, the mundane, you know, somebody who is focused on the mundane, day-to-day life, somebody who's unawakened. It pushes you away from that. It's like into a whole other realm. And now it's just like, boom, everything, you start getting downloads, and it's like everything opens itself up to you. And that's when you gain the access and the understanding and the evolution of your soul, true knowing of the soul. And that's the spiritual journey. Then when you start to realign, not discover who you are, but rediscover who you have always been. Like the true spiritual journey is a rediscovery of the self, the soul, the I, you know, and it is, you know, something that requires us to be whole, to feel that, you know, the discovery of the self, the soul, to feel that oneness and that stillness with self, and to sit with it, and to not need anything outside of ourselves to be whole, complete, and happy on our own, in our own self, with our own consciousness. To be happy, whole, and complete without any other person, without any other thing, without, you know, any other superficial object outside of yourself, meaning that you can sit with yourself and be a whole, complete soul and being, and realign with that true self, which is the soul, and let go of the old self, which is the ego, the mundane, the personality, the physical, you know, letting go of the physical stuff, letting go of the mundane stuff, letting go of the false narratives that we were told when we were younger, because those were all false narratives. You know, we were all born under the narratives, under the belief systems of our parents and society. Society told us, you are this. This is who you are. We lived under a state of social conformity since the moment you were born. Since the moment you took your first breath, you were born under a world, you know, of social conformity and a belief system that was brought upon you. And the true spiritual journey is breaking away from that, freeing yourself from those shackles that oppressed you, freeing yourself from those shackles that told you who you were. But now, the spiritual journey, being in that, you are going back to who you truly have always been. You are breaking away from that, the old self, the old patterns, the old beliefs, because those were imposed on you by society, by your parents, by your communities, everything. Your school systems, the society, they impose that on you. Shedding that, like a snake sheds its skin, breaking away from that, and recognizing your true belief system and the true self. That is a spiritual journey. And with all of that, you gradually, as time goes on, little by little, start elevating your consciousness. And it starts getting higher and higher. You start growing and growing more within your own consciousness. And during that time is typically when a twin flame, or your twin flame, the chances are that it is extremely rare, maybe 1 in a million, but that would be when they come in. And then you will hear that your twin, tell you again, twins are mirrors, right? A very similar experience with their own spiritual development. And then when you're on, when you have developed to a certain point, that's when the universe creates a moment for you two to meet. It will be out of the blue. It will be out of the ordinary, out of the blue. It won't be something that, is a normal occurrence. It's not going to be like, oh, my friend introduced me to blah, 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 or, I met them on the dating app. No, it'll be out of the blue, out of the ordinary, it will just be like someone just dropped this person on your lap, and you're going to be like, where the hell did you just come from? It'll be something like that. It's really funny when the true twin flames that I've heard of, that I've talked to, that's typically how it goes. It's a very just sporadic, just a sporadic meeting, and it's very out of the ordinary, to say the least. And meeting that person, that mirror self, you can see the mirroring. You can see how the past traumas, the past pains, the past hurts, growing up even, the relationship you both have with your mother and father, your fears, your abandonment issues, your trust issues, like all of these things, every single thing of the psyche, because it is two souls as one. It is the psyche and the soul. You will mirror that. You will see that reflection of who you are within your twin. And therefore, when you look at a synastry chart, you look and see with twin flames that are true twin flames. One thing that I've noticed with all of the real twin flames that I've seen is that there is a mirroring between both charts, and that is something that I forgot exactly her name, but she's a Synastry astrologer on YouTube, and I remember her talking about that, and I was like, that is exactly what I've noticed too, is that the true twin flames, it is very much so a mirror. Because that is your mirror. The charts merely mirror themselves. Now, does that mean, like, if one person's a Scorpio sun, that, the twin flame has to be a Scorpio sun? Or if one person is, a Leo moon, that the other person has to be a Leo moon, and it has to be, like, the exact same signs and everything? Absolutely not. That's not really what happens ever. But what really happens is you will notice the charts will be symbiotic. They will not be the same, but they will be similar. They will be symbiotic in nature. So you will have, let's say, one twin, they will have, let's say, a Chiron in Scorpio. Then the second twin might not have the Chiron in Scorpio, but they'll have it in the 8th house, which acts quite similarly to Chiron in Scorpio, because Scorpio rules the 8th house, traditionally. So it is a very symbiotic interpretation that we see, a symbiotic correlation, I should say, that we notice. And another thing that we'll see as well, that's a huge sign when I say this like correlation, the symbiotic correlation, we'll see and look at the houses, right? And every single house that has, let's say, a stellium or a lot of energy in, that will be exactly identical to your to the twins' chart themselves, having stelliums, a lot of planets in that house that the other twin has. So both twin flames will have a chart that will have, like let's say a stellium of planets in the first, a stellium of planets in the second house, a lot of first and second house energy. It'll be just like lit up, and maybe a little third. And both of them will have extremely similar layouts, basically, of where the planets, where majority of the energy lies in the chart. Does it lie below the horizon, meaning from house 1 to 7, or does it land, or do most of the planets land above the horizon from house 7 to 12? So, we'll see the energies of the planets be similar, very much so in the same houses, very symbiotic, So, the stelliums of planets that you have, you'll notice, or that the twin has, will notice that their twin has the stellium, that same stellium, maybe not the same planets, but it will be also a stellium of planets in those houses, because it's your mirror, right? It's a mirror self. So when you come into this world, your planets will be, the stars, the planets in the sky are, that's your destiny, the moment you were born. And it shows you in your birth chart what areas of life, what your life purpose, meaning, mission, just your life in general, like where you are going to experience the most energy in your life, or what your life will mostly focus on. Your birth chart will tell you. And with twin flames, that is your mirror self. That is the person that is supposed to be, mirroring you, in the sense of both, going through similar trauma, struggles, and, issues like abandonment issues, trust issues, all of these things that both people will have, and they will mirror that. And they're meant to mirror each other because they both will trigger each other back and forth. It's a triggering effect, because this triggering moment causes them both to heal together and evolve even more to even higher levels of consciousness, and higher levels of consciousness, because the reason for even meeting, for the universe to bring these twin flames together, is to raise the collective consciousness through their union. So more people, so that it can vibrate back down from the 5D plane, back down to the universe, to have more people awaken, and more people find their twin flame, and more people know the true meaning, open their third eye, find the true meaning of life itself, and the mystery behind it, and finally awaken. And once you become awakened, you are never the same again. You are just never the same. It's a beautiful experience, But these, twin flames, that's your mirror self, So there's going to be a lot of energy in the same houses. So if the first twin has a lot of second house energy and first house energy, then the other twin is going to have, a stellium in the first house and a stellium in the second house too, and a lot of energy in those two houses, because both of you are mirrors, and you are both two parts of one whole. You are twins, twin flames. So that means that both of you are meant to be, in this lifetime, working a lot on self-development, self-values, material possessions, the things that you value as individuals, self-worth, self-value as well. Also, how you view yourself, first house, like how do you view yourself, your personality? Who are you? Making yourself have that sense of self. First house is also like finding that sense of self, like who you really are, like working on your appearance, your self-confidence issues. That's a lot of first house. And then second house is, just what do you value? Do you value yourself? Do you value, material things? Do you value, what are your true values? And then there'll be a lot of planetary aspects that are similar as well, because you two are mirrors. And you're going to see, like if one twin has, let's say, a Uranus moon aspect, then like let's say it's a conjunction. Let's say it's a conjunction. They're different moon signs. Let's say it's a Leo moon with a Uranus conjunction. Then the other twin will have, let's say, an Aries moon with a Uranus square, and both twins will both have that fear of abandonment, because whenever we see a conjunction to the moon or a hard aspect of Uranus to the moon, typically there's some form of abandonment that has happened within the chart holder's life. Uranus and the moon, they are, it's a malefic that is aspecting that moon, and it definitely causes not just emotional instability, but the emotional instability comes from that abandonment that happened early in childhood, that feeling of abandonment, and feeling like you have to be alone and just really take care of yourself and be on your own, but it's a sudden thing, like suddenly being abandoned. It's a very complex thing to see a child go through, but this is what we do as astrologers. We see these aspects, and we know how a person's childhood, their story typically goes. Another thing that you can see too is like with the love planets too. Like let's say you'll see a Venus-Mars conjunction in one twin, the other twin will have Venus in the 7th, which is similar. It acts similar to Venus and Mars conjunctions. A Venus in the 7th acts very similar to that, because that's the 7th house of Libra, and Libra rules Venus, and that's the rule. Venus is the ruler of Libra, and Venus conjuncts Mars, so that's extremely similar. It's a similar dynamic, you see. So you'll just notice a lot of similar aspects. Like one twin will have maybe some Pluto aspects, the other twin will have Pluto aspects as well, and these are not meant to be harmonious unions. Twin flames are probably one of the hardest unions to keep. That's why I think that a lot of fake twin flames run around and cause people a lot of havoc in their life. And I'm not saying that a real twin flame isn't going to either, because triggering somebody's deep internal wounds, like that truly is a twin flame dynamic. Is it's not a runner chaser of that person running away or you running away. It's energy. It's chasing that energy, kind of like a ping pong, kind of back and forth. So when one twin energetically, it's not physically, it's an energetic pull. So when that one twin energetically has a little bit of a step back, pulls a little bit away, the other twin will go after them, because they can't stand to see their twin go too far from them, get away too far from them, and the other twin will do the same. So it's very it's very sweet in that way, that both twins want to stay close, no matter what happens in their life. But they're not supposed to be the most harmonious things, though. They're supposed to be a catalyst for spiritual growth, spiritual evolution, and for raising consciousness. You will mirror your twin. Twins mirror each other because they're meant to trigger each other's abandonment issues, trigger each other's deep internal wounds, trigger each other's trust issues. All of these things, because they're meant to face, because your mirror is there in front of you to make you face yourself. That is really the twin flame journey, looking within oneself, because you cannot be in a true twin flame journey, if both people have never evolved or have been on a spiritual journey prior, or spiritual journey or process prior. And the spiritual journey, it's in and of itself, that process, that journey of knowing, of knowing the true self, and the reason why we're here. Why are you here? What is the reason for living? Like, why are we on this, plane? Like, what is our relationship to God, the universe, and everybody else? Until that happens, then that's when that twin comes. So a lot of people really, they just want to rush into it, have never really practiced, really understood spirituality in its true essence and its true core, or the spiritual journey or spiritual awakening. A spiritual awakening is not just, like doing some type of psychedelic and being like, oh, I awakened now. That's absolutely not what a spiritual awakening is. And if anybody thinks that, I'm sorry to say that that's a false awakening. I mean, maybe it was fun, but that's not what a true awakening is. A true awakening is a very painful process for majority of us, I would say like at least 90% of us, there's a small percentage that have lived so many lifetimes, prior lifetimes, past lives, where they have evolved and spiritually grew and grew and grew so much to where they are able to be in this lifetime awakened through the practice of deep meditation and stillness and silence and oneness. Like that mindfulness is something that, but this is like, I'm talking years of practice within mindfulness meditation to where they can achieve that awakening, like that, like really have that kundalini rising and have that third eye open to where it's like the energy starts to manifest itself. It starts to open up and it starts to manifest itself as, okay, my awakening has started or occurred. And then that sends that vibration out like to the universe that's like, okay, so, your twin is ready. So, the universe will start turning in ways and changing in ways. And it's amazing how that happens, truly. The universe will place both twins in situations and push them in ways to where they are meant to meet. They are meant to meet. It's just fated, it is destined, and it is the most meaningful thing that either one will ever experience in their lifetime. It's very fated. And, the triggering that happens between them, it might make them feel like, oh no, like how, like this can't be it. But that is the whole purpose of the twin flame journey, is to go through that, which either of them, they might not even realize, until maybe they get more evolved and raise each other's consciousness and, evolve more and spiritually grow together, evolve and heal together. And then once that consciousness between the twins rises and they become more in tune to who they are, which is a mirrored soul, which is the same soul or a mirror soul, then that's when you start noticing the more harmonious side, I should say, of the twin flame dynamic. Because you might be like, okay, well, I don't want to be with my twin flame. They're going to trigger me all the time. I don't want that. But it's one of the most beautiful unions once the ego becomes the wounds that have not been healed, the traumas that have not been healed. Once these are triggered and once these are healed and patched over, and there's evolution, deep evolution, life-changing evolution between the twins, growth beyond belief between the twins, and all of this transformation above everything. There's a major transformation that happens between the twin flames. And after that transformation, then that's when the consciousness is raised, and the relationship becomes very much so one of the most fulfilling and nirvana, from what I heard from some twin flames. It's like nirvana, to have gone through the twin flame journey with their twin flame and gone through all of the hardships and all of the hardships of the twin flame experience and journey, and to go and to make it through with their twin flame, because it's hard to really leave your twin flame. It's like, again, it's truly, you two are tied with an energetic cord, because you are one, you are mirror souls. So when one twin flame energetically starts kind of like pulling this way, the other one is going to come after them no matter what. It's just they just cannot get too far away from each other. That's just how this dynamic always plays out. And vice versa. So making it out won't be too hard, because it's going to be hard to, it's one of it's the hardest thing to release each other. It rarely ever happens, So it's something that it's so beautiful when it goes to that level of higher consciousness. It becomes very just, like a movie, like Nirvana. And I've heard some just amazing things from people, from the true twin flames, not the fake ones, not the ones that are just like people who are like side pieces, or side chicks, or like he's married, or like he ran away for like 2 months or a month, or something. Like these are all false twin flames. They are just people that are not interested and are, quite frankly, immature people, like not definitely not spiritually involved people whatsoever. Okay, so that's all I have to say really about the twin flame journey. It's amazing. That when it reaches that pinnacle of what it's supposed to, and the twins have gone through their traumas, their issues, their fears, all of that together. They triggered each other. They healed each other. They cried with each other. They healed with each other. They grew with each other, transformed with each other, and evolved. Soul-wise, like the soul evolves with your twin flame, not just physically, not just mentally, not just emotionally, but everything. It's an evolution. And when that happens and they reach the pinnacle of gaining higher consciousness, that's when they raise the collective consciousness. And that's the whole mission of the twin flame experience. From my understanding, from what I've studied, from what I have researched, and that is one of the most beautiful things. And this is, I think, such a necessary union. We need twin flames to get together. This is the age of Aquarius. Third, people need to awaken. This is the time of awakening. There are twin flames as we speak now coming into union. People are awakening. Third eyes are opening. It is a beautiful thing. Like, people are experiencing Kundalini awakenings, as we speak. So it's like, that third eye chakra, like it's opening, like, with people that, you wouldn't even imagine, because this is the age of Aquarius. Like, it's breaking free from the norms. So people you wouldn't even expect to awaken, become awakened, or couples that you don't expect to see, like, with each other, because, it's the awakening process. And, and that's what the age of Aquarius dictates. It's really about the collective and the collective consciousness. And that's why twin flames now are coming into union. And that's why, these awakenings are happening in the universe, throughout the world, because it is meant to raise the collective consciousness. These twin flames are meant to go through these experiences, have these Kundalini awakenings, these third eye chakras opening, all of these things, to go through the spiritual journey, be propelled into the spiritual journey, to be able to meet their twin flame, get together with their twin flame, and raise all the collective's consciousness to vibrate back down to earth, so more people can become awakened and more people can go through this beautiful experience and this transformative, just all-encompassing, life-changing, and, just amazing experience that, but also, not, it can be also, the flip of the coin, but, it can be a lot of good, and, also, there's going to be a lot of triggers as well. But once the twin flames get to union and become one and raise the collective consciousness through their union, then everything becomes, the mission is complete. And that's when karma, the reason for them meeting, their soul's purpose was truly to meet each other. Like, it's a really beautiful thing. Twin flames, they were destined. They were, energetically, like with a cord, tied to each other before birth, and were meant to always have this connection, this tie to each other, until they were meant to meet in the 3D world, in the 3D plane. So it's destiny, it's karma, it's fate. So when that karmic mission is completed between the twin flames, then that's when the nirvana happens, between the union and the collective consciousness is raised. That was their mission. That was the goal for the universe, to have these two people even born. Was to go through this evolution and have that done, together as the mirror self, as the twin flame. And it's such a beautiful thing, and I can't wait to see more authentic twin flames in the future, and hope to do more synastry readings for them. And yes, it's just a really beautiful thing, and it's so necessary nowadays, especially with the war going on, and just like how there's just really just horrific things going on in the universe, where people are discriminating each other, people are hurting each other. There's a lot of darkness in the world. Twin flames need to help raise the collective consciousness, because we need more light. We need more authentic love. We need more authentic, pure love, unconditional love in this world. We need more light. I believe that we need to embrace the darkness in our shadow, but as well, there's so much darkness already in the world that, the soulmate, raising the collective consciousness, creating more light in the universe, more authentic love, and sending that vibration back out to the universe, and more of that to be reflected back onto us. That is what the world needs. That is what society needs as a whole, to end a lot of this craziness that's happening right now in the world. And so I hope to see more of it. I hope to see more twin flames get together, and I definitely know, I'm glad we are in the age of Aquarius. So, I hope to see a lot more. And so that's really about it that I have for this this twin flame soulmate talk. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me. I'll leave everything in my description. And until next time, thank you for listening in, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.